Hello, I'm Michael, and I'm going to be looking at this Surface Book. Is it still worth it? Now that there's a performance-based model coming out, and with the lack of refreshes to the other surfaces, do you still want the previous generation? If you haven't already watched it, I have an unboxing video on my channel. Also, I apologise for the lighting here. This is not where I was hoping to record the video, but, needs must. I promised a recording and I'm not sure if I'll get another chance like this. Happy New Year, by the way, for 2017. Okay, so if any of you have been watching, Microsoft at the moment and are considering going away from Mac or not because of the new MacBook Pro being disappointment due, in which case obviously there's a lot of people that are going to Microsoft. Well, the Surface Book might be the option, might have been one of the many laptops that you'd have been considering. It's thin, it's light, it's a 13.5 inch notebook. Now recently Microsoft released a new version of this, but the differences were pretty minor and the laptop is still expensive whichever generation you want to look at. This light's irritating me as well, no worry about that. So if you still want to look at the Surface Book, one of the older ones. Now the model I've got here is my own work machine. Okay, it is the i5 model with 8 gigs of RAM and just integrated graphics and a 128GB SSD. Okay, runs Windows 10 Pro, as you can see, very thin. So yeah, I'm not going to go into benchmark or anything like that, or anything like that. If you've watched any other reviews, you'll already know most of the benchmarks with it. You'll already be fairly well aware of the other spec options. Okay, you probably know that it's a very nice laptop. I mean, you can't really do much damage to this unless you're trying to. It is very durable. The whole thing is made out of magnesium alloy. Keyboard obviously plastic, as you can see here. Trackpad's made of glass. The screen is protected by Gorilla Glass. The whole front panel. Okay, very durable. Oh, dog's just come in. Alright, dog. Hold on, I'm busy. So, well, it's still got all the durability that you'd expect. Okay, it may be about a year old now, but this design as well is still pretty fresh looking, very nice looking. If you go around the laptop, you've got an SD card slot, 2 USB 3 ports, and that's about it on this side. On the other side, on the base still, you have charging port, mini display port, and the headphone jack. Okay, 3.5mm. Does also support does also support microphones if you need to use them. Okay, so performance-wise, well, coming from someone that uses this at university, goes to the uni on the train every day, it's solid. Okay, I'm not a graphics artist. I don't need the dedicated graphics option that you can get if you want it or need it, but by paying a bit more for the upper end models. But I don't need that. I am on a science course. I just need it for things like essays, and I like Surface already. I had a Surface RT, the original. Surface 3 is what I'm recording this video on because away from home. And I wanted a Surface Pro 4, but I needed the battery life. I was just starting university. I didn't know where plugs would be. And while Surface Pro 4's battery's gotten better now, the Surface Book's still got a much bigger battery. So for anyone that doesn't know how these work, Surfaces are all 2-in-1s, okay? The other Surfaces, the Surface Pro 4, Surface 3, Pro 3, etc. are tablets with a kickstand and a keyboard attachment. Surface Book is not like that, because some people have difficulty with the kickstands or just prefer a laptop form factor. Microsoft created the Surface Book to be like a laptop. Okay, you've got a massive battery in here, you've got a proper keyboard, and you've got a weighted lower section with a hinge, folds up and down. Okay, very nice looking hinge, by the way, I'll go into that in a moment. Whilst this bit here, it's a tablet section called the clipboard. Okay, and that has all the actual guts of the laptop. You see the vents going around the edge of here. It goes all around the laptop, these vents, and they work to cool the system. The system actually has a hybrid fan liquid cooling system. It's very quiet. On the rare occasions it turns on. So let me just show you how it looks detached from the keyboard section. Here we go. There is the connections. You've got a a couple of connections for the muscle wire locks, as they're called, and you've got the data connections in the middle here. This central one can actually be plugged in. So whilst this tablet section only has around 2 hours battery life, 2-3 hours, sorry, it is incredibly thin, and you can plug it in if you want to keep using it. Okay, this is basically a massive 13-inch tablet now. Okay, here's the keyboard. You can actually put, as well, if you need the battery life away from a plug but you want to use it as a tablet, you can put the screen back on like so. There we go. Okay, and with this you can have it as a tablet like this. Turn it around this way because of that gap, which is because of this unique fulcrum hinge, which I personally like. Then you have a nice angle when you change laptop rotation, there we go, for drawing with the included Surface Pen. A lot of you will have already seen Surface Pen if you've watched any other reviews, so I'm not going to go into too much detail on that, neither at the moment. Okay, so it can be used like that, or it can also be used in presentation or temp modes in the same way as if you've seen a Lenovo Yoga. There's your presentation mode, and the temp mode's obviously when it's upside down. Okay. Now this is running full Windows 10 Pro out of the box, and Windows 10 Pro is interesting because it has more built-in security. It usually costs more as well, but on this occasion it doesn't. Now I said about the hinge, okay, that fulcrum hinge. Put this laptop down like so, right? This hinge allows it to increase the hinge. Sorry, it's not easy to open up this laptop, it's not like a MacBook, but the hinge rolls out to increase the length of the base to balance out the weight of the tablet section with the keyboard section. Okay, now other bits and pieces on here, you've got 2 physical buttons on the top, power, volume rocker, you've got an 8 megapixel camera on the rear which is 1080p, a 5 megapixel forward facing camera which also records in 1080p, and a full-on microphone array and all that as well. It's got dual band Wi-Fi controlled by Marvel Avastar, and Bluetooth, all your usual connections there. The display on here is 3000 by 2000, very, very bright, very nice, obviously touch screen. Okay, so that's nice in itself. Now I don't actually have it turned on because of a battery bug at the moment, which may have been fixed, I've not tested it in a while, but this computer does also have 3D facial recognition cameras on the front that allow you to use Windows Hello to log in. That is very fast, very accurate, not easy to trick, a lot harder to trick than fingerprint readers, and if you want to have a look at one of these, I'd advise trying to find somewhere where you can see one with the facial recognition working, because it is great. Or look at some other videos, there are a lot of reviewers that do actually show it. Okay, so, you know, should you still consider one of these? Well, I get, battery wise, which is the reason you might go for one of these, I get a good 10 hours of use. My apologies. Yeah, I get a good 10-12 hours worth of battery life out of this when I'm not using it for much. Multitasking, it does it very well. Okay, this has got an i5 dual core processor at 2.4 GHz. It's not a gaming notebook, not many are, but for multitasking I can have 5 or 6 tabs open in Microsoft Edge, a couple less in Chrome if you use that a lot, because Chrome is a heavier RAM browser, and one that I personally would not recommend. If you really need something like it, take a look at Mozilla Firefox. It's nicer to the computer and provides just as much functionality. Now, moving on. So the Surface Book, okay, the glass trackpad on it feels great. It's one of the best trackpads on a Windows computer, and that's something that most people agree on. Okay, it doesn't go overboard like the MacBook Pros for size, but some people say it's not as nice. Now, MacBook Pros I've tried, okay, admittedly I've only ever really had access to the ones in shops, the demo units. Only about once or twice have I had access to friends' MacBooks, not for very long. But from what I have tried personally, I prefer the Surface Book's trackpad. Okay, but that is a personal matter. Okay, it's what you prefer the feel of, but it is nice. Typing on this, well, unlike Mac's new Flutter keys, whatever they're called, butterfly keys, or like the Dell XPS 15 and Dell XPS 13, I find their keyboards as well are a bit shallow, not very good. This actually has a full travel keyboard. It's very nice to use. Okay, it's very comfortable. If you've not tried it, I would recommend trying one. What else did I go over really? Sound on it sounds fairly good. Works well for you if you're on your own. But if you're in a crowded room, it's not going to work overly well. Okay, pen. I said about that. 1024 levels of pressure sensitivity. Connects via N-Trig and Bluetooth. And magnetically attaches to the side. Like so, only connects to the one side, contrary to what many people think. It is. It only connects to that side, the left-hand side of the display, on Surface Pro 4 as well. The reason that some people can connect it to the right side of Surface Pro 4 is because that's where its charging port is. Okay, and the charging port on this Surface Pro 4 and Surface Pro 3, it's a totally reversible charging port. It is magnetic, like the old MacBook MagSafe. So, believe it or not, the charging port's there, right? There you go. It is a magnetic charging port. The pen can attach to it, though it's not strong. Okay, Surface Pro 4 magnetic charging port is underneath the USB port along the opposite side. That is why the Surface Pen can connect to the right side of the Surface Pro 4. Magnesium alloy is not magnetic, so the rest of the device is not going to hold the pen to, store it. You're going to need to either have it on the side of the tablet or put it in a bag safe. But it is a strong magnet. My rucksack, I never have it fall out, and I keep this and my Surface 3 in my rucksack when I'm on my way to uni, and I've not had much of an issue with it. Keyboard on here, if you really need to use it in the dark, is backlit. 3 levels. 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's controlled via a function key. Same as the detach function is also controlled by a function key. Okay, look at this. There you go. Those muscle wire locks are very strong. Okay, Surface Book is a very, very competent machine for anyone that's in uni, college, that needs to do a lot of essays, needs to be comfortable doing them, needs to be able to run WordNat and then wants to watch some videos afterwards. It's with 3000 by 2000 resolution. It is not a standard resolution. It's used on all the surfaces, but your regular widescreens are 16 by 9, and the regular, more square or tablet type screens are a 4 by 3 ratio, I believe. So you are going to get letterboxing if you watch a movie on here, but it's nothing too major. And blacks on this screen are so accurate that you're not really going to notice the letterboxing unless you're somehow more perceptive than me. I have Asperger's syndrome. I see details that stand out, and the blacks on this are that good that personally it doesn't bother me watching films on here. But if you really don't like it, it has a mini display port, right? You can buy for about £3, around Great British pounds on Amazon, a cable that connects mini display port to HDMI. I got one, and this thing can power 2 monitors at 4K resolution. So if you really want to watch on a bigger screen or want to watch on a screen which has no letterboxing, it really isn't difficult to set that up, and it's not costly. The biggest price you're paying for that would basically be the monitor or screen, but most people have other computers or TVs with HDMI ports. They could use them. I don't see how that's too much of an issue. That's a personal choice that you can make. Now, as for weight, it is not light. Believe me, it is not a light laptop, and it's not the thinnest neither. This hinge makes it quite thick, but it's comfortable. It will slip into a bag. It will go with you. I can hold it in one hand. I'm not going to get, any ache because of it. It takes a bit of time to get used to the weight. Once you're used to it, it's fine. Durability, well, there's very few marks on here. Magnesium alloy. The only issue with this magnesium alloy material is it scratches. And if you can see, there's a little bit of a scratch on the bottom of my unit. Where is it? There. My finger on it. Is it visible? Just about see that mark. Okay, magnesium alloy scratches is the one issue with it. It's still more durable than magnesium. The scratch will only affect the aesthetic. If you take care of it, you're not going to get that. I have the scratch on there. I don't know how I got the scratch on there, but it's on the bottom. It's where you don't really see it. Okay, the only other issue is mine. You'll notice there's a little mark there. I dropped the keyboard section. It was undamaged by the laminate floor, but it did hit a computer tower on the way down, and both the computer tower and that gained a dent. Now in my computer tower, the computer tower in question was a big one, made entirely out of metal except for its front facing, and thick metal, about that thick. That's not bad. It's not bad at all, and the hinge had no problem. Now occasionally when you pick these up, you'll hear a bit of crackling, okay? Now that's just because of the adhesive used, because it's such a thin machine, it's not going to hurt. Other than that, the only other bits to know, you've got, you know, rubber here, about it. So I mentioned I was just talking about these, sorry I had to go over a moment just to sort something out. Yeah, I mentioned these strips. These rubber strips are just to stop the bottom from being scratched on any surface you go onto. It's actually a nice little touch that could be more effective, I'd say. There's a few other scratches on here that I've not noticed before, but it's the bottom of a laptop. There was something else I wanted to point out. What was it? Oh, if you look on the front here, there's no damage. There's very much a MacBook style aesthetic with this cutout for the screen. You can't open this with one finger, but it's nice nonetheless, and it gives it a premium look and feel. It's very minimalistic, this. And on the top here there's this plastic strip that's there for the Wi-Fi antenna, and it doesn't really hurt. And the only symbol you got from Microsoft is that steel logo on the back. So, do I recommend this? If you don't need that graphics unit, but you do need the versatility that this offers with its tablet section and the entry digitizer that a lot of other 2-in-1s even can't offer. I mean, a lot of 2-in-1s are on the market now, but a lot of them cannot offer a decent digitizer. I believe the Lenovo Yogas have access to Wacom, these have access to N-Trig. However, I wouldn't take my word for the Lenovo's at the moment. I think maybe they've removed them from some models, and the Lenovo Wacoms the Lenovo digitizers were sometimes a bit weird, too thin, too thick. This is actually designed to feel like a pen. It's made of magnesium as well, suits the Surface aesthetic perfectly, and it comes in the box with Surface Book. Okay, if you need a laptop sometimes, but something you can also take notes on, and that you want to just try to put in your bag, go home and then watch a film, then this is perfect. If you want to do some hardcore gaming, don't bother with this unless you have another computer you do the gaming on. If you don't need the versatility and you know what you're doing, then by all means look elsewhere, because now I'm going to go on to the price. And this lowest end model, it's not cheap. I mean, this lowest end model starts at £1,300, 1,299 British pounds sterling. Okay, that in itself is certainly not a cheap price here in the UK. I'm just going to go to the Microsoft store to make sure that's not changed. I've not looked at it in a little while. I'm terrible for that. I didn't really plan this very well, but hey, the unedited thing, you're going to see things like that simply because, you know, I can't lie to you and make things up if I'm, you know, speaking to you without editing it. So Surface Book, yeah, starts at £1,299 according to the Microsoft Store for the i5 128 gigs with 8 gigs of RAM. You can see it there. Okay. So yeah. Now I'm sure you all want to know about gaming. Well, I've got 4 games on here at the moment. Okay, I've got 4 games on here. Via Steam, I've got Open TTD, so Open Transport Tycoon Deluxe and Simutrans. They're both very old games. They can play on pretty much anything that runs Windows. I won't worry too much about that, but the 2 major games I've got on here are Farming Simulator 15 and Euro Truck Simulator 2. Farming Simulator 15 is fine for a couple of hours. Euro Truck Simulator, not so much. You're going to want to have a mouse anyway. If I start this up, just give me 1 moment. here it goes. Here. So you get a nice bit of the speakers here. Now you can see the screen is absolutely... Right, as you can see the screen is absolutely beautiful for gaming on. Okay, speakers are not bad neither. I just continue game. Okay. So loading up, loading up, loading up, loading up. See, it takes a while when it does get in. Okay, graphics on it I've had to set to low, so anyway to keep frame rates okay at an alright level, but the game does only run at around, well, even on this you probably can't see, but it's only running about 31 frames per second according to the top corner there. No, you can't really see. It's running about 31, 33 frames per second. That's just on the menu. Okay, this is not a gaming notebook. This will not get you through hardcore games. Okay, this is just a simulator where you drive trucks across Europe, which I really enjoy doing, as you may have guessed. And, well, obviously that's got quite a bit of content, but it is not the heaviest game, and it will not compete with AAA titles for graphics. So if you want to play something like GTA 5, Crysis, Fallout, or Gears of War 4, which I have, you're not going to be able to run them on here. Okay, that's even if you can find the storage for games like that, which are often pretty big anyway. But other than that, well, other bits and pieces for the performance on this. The screen gets very bright. You know, it's once you've done all the firmware updates, when you get one, it works well. So in the end, it depends on what you're after. This is really a machine to go for. Okay, if you need the versatility, and you don't even need to consider the new Surface performance base, which has a bigger battery and a big new GPU in the base. They still only use they still only use the same clipboards, still only use 6th gen processors, and the GPU in the base isn't even that much of an upgrade. It's an Nvidia GTX 965 or 980M or something like that. It's, you know, not a 10 series card. It's not going to get you into any kind of virtual reality applications. It's not going to get you into augmented reality applications. You don't really need it. Not at all. So, you know, it depends on what you're after. But if you have the money, and if you don't know where you're going, you need a computer that can do whatever you decide to do later, Surface Book is perfect for you. If you need something that can do something like video editing all the time, because you know you do that, no, you don't want this. If you need something to do loads and loads of programming, then a Lenovo might be better for you. Their ThinkPad lineup is excellent for accountants and programmers and the like. If you need something for gaming, take a look at some of the dedicated gaming notebooks. Okay, there's a lot of things this cannot do, but it's a jack of all trades. You can play light games like Farming Simulator and Simutrans, or mobile app games. You can play, you can do your work. If you do essays and the like, you can do a bit of video editing or photo editing here and there. Simple stuff, you know, but not anything heavy. If you're not specialised in that, but you do it every now and again, this is a machine that can do that. If you need to take notes sometimes as well, again, it can do that. It's a versatile machine. You're paying for the versatility, you're paying for the quality, and it is a very high quality. So, if you like this review, please give me a thumbs up. Okay, this channel's just starting, and I hope to bring you many more pretty honest and totally unedited videos and all the like. And yes, as I say, hope you've had a good start to 2017. Thank you for watching, and I'm Michael Owens.